Hi guys, thanks for joining in today. I'm Brian. If you didn't know, today we're talking about Central Africa. So a news report just came out a few days ago. It reads, if you want to have a look at this, it says Central African Republic suspends activities of Chinese mining company. That's a big one right there. As the title just says, a Chinese company has been suspended and they're not allowed to continue whatever activity they were doing within the country. So if you don't know where Central Republic is, have a look at this map, get your bearings right. So this is where the country is located. It's a country just like many African countries that's rich in minerals, right? So it has a lot of gold, uranium, iron ore, copper, and manganese, just to name a few. So based on that title alone, I'm instantly intrigued as to what's happening there. Why have they suspended this Chinese company from continuing to do work over there? So have a listen to this. So this is quoted from the article. It says, the government of Central African Republic has suspended the activities of a Chinese mining company in the country, accusing it of cooperating with armed militias according to the government decree. Wow, that's a big accusation they've been dealt with. The company in question here is called Danking SARL. So it's a Chinese company and they've been there essentially mining gold and diamonds, and that's what they've been doing. And it turns out that, well, it seems like they're being accused of cooperating with armed groups within the country. As a result of that, the government over there is claiming that they're obviously doing illegal mining activities and illegally introducing foreign subjects to come into their mine to do work. And also they've been accused of not paying taxes for what they've been doing over there, just to name a few things. So they've been accused of a lot of things. The article also goes on to say that the Chinese company, unfortunately, had been operating in a region that is plagued with a lot of armed forces. So different militia groups have been known to operate in that area, and they seem to be caught up in the middle of the infighting that's happening in Central Africa. So for those of you who don't know much about this country, Central African Republic, it has been plagued by a lot of conflict as far back as 2013. So a former president that was kicked out by a rebel group, and that president was called Francois Bozize, and that guy was kicked out by a militia group which was predominantly a Muslim ethnic group. And him being kicked out came from a number of reasons. A number of reasons that seem to trouble a lot of African leaders is, the typical corruption, nepotism, and excluding other ethnic groups that live within your own countries. So one of the many reasons why Francois Bozize was kicked out by the rebellion in 2013, which was mostly spearheaded by a different Muslim ethnic group of people that were, dissatisfied with how this guy was ruling the country and essentially just excluding them from the society over there and not really following whatever agreements they had previously agreed on when the country was being formed. So that's the historical context that you really need to understand, is that it all spurred from this one guy that was kicked out, and from that point different rebellion groups formed, and from the point when they kicked him out, another rebellion group was formed, and this was mostly, I guess, Christian rebellion group, which was, unhappy with what was happening. And so the two different factions collided and the country was just under conflict for a very long time until a ceasefire was agreed upon. Post that ceasefire happening, the country would have slowly started to try and rebuild, but it seems like the country hasn't really found its footing. And whatever peace agreement that was signed by the different factions, the different rebel groups, and the government of the country seems to have just fallen apart. And as a result of that, different militia groups have dissolved themselves from whatever peace agreement was signed. And as a result of that, they're controlling different parts of the country. And obviously you can now kind of see how this mining company has been caught up in what's been happening over there. Different reports have also indicated the fact that these militias also make their money by exploiting the mineral resources of their own country, and they're able to illegally mine and export and make cash, and that's how they're able to finance and stay organized as a militia group. That's how the country is still so unstable, because the government over there doesn't seem to have a stronghold of what happens in the country, and the different militia groups seem to have too much power, and this Chinese company, and I would have to assume many other companies that might still be there, are somehow caught up in all of this. As far as like the accusations for them cooperating with the militia group, that could be either A, done intentionally, or B, under just duress, really. Can you imagine, like, what would you do if, say, hypothetically, one of these groups were to come and invade the area that you're meant to be, exploring for minerals and trying to extract minerals? I would have to assume you might probably cave and cooperate with them. So it's an unfortunate thing that's happening now, because the country is very, very poor, considering the fact that they have so much wealth just buried in the ground, waiting for them to dig it up and use to make the lives of their people better. So it's a very tricky situation that the government and this company find themselves in. On the other hand, the other thing to really remember, I guess, for those of you who might not really know, a lot of Chinese run mining operations around Africa, they seem to always come under a lot of scrutiny because they've been found to be doing a lot of wrong things. How they're managing their activity in terms of how are they maintaining the environment, how are they coexisting with the locals that live within that area. Are they exploiting the people over there? And is that also another reason why the government is kind of like focused on them, suspended their operation over there? Because it's a common trend that's happened in Africa, right across Africa really, where a lot of these Chinese miners probably just taking advantage of the situations in terms of the countries in which they operate in. They don't seem to have strong governments that adhere to the rule of law in terms of how one must operate a business and an undertaking like this. So there might be many layers to this story. I'm really interested to see how it all turns out. It's such an unfortunate thing that's happening because I'm sure they were employing a lot of people within the area that they were operating in. And those people also stand to lose a lot because they're obviously generating money, money for themselves and their families. And on the other front, the government over there really needs to do more to cooperate with these rebel groups and find a long-lasting peace agreement with them so that the country can prosper. It's an interesting story. So if you really would like to learn more about it, just go on the internet and look around. And there's the title again. So read, tell me what you think. I'd love to learn what you know about this particular topic. My understanding of it might be very low, but I'm happy to learn from you guys. So please tell me in the comments, and I'd like to see you again on the next video. And if you enjoyed this video, as always, please subscribe. I would love to see you again on the next one. So thanks for watching. Until then, bye.